something I'd like you to comment on. I think, I don't know if that's exploring a lot of things, but the policy shift on renewable standards, has made St. Paul the last couple of days. What's your take on that?
Yeah, the background there was Republican convention was meeting up there, and in the platform was some language that said that we oppose the renewable fuel standard, and we would want that taken away and dropped. It did not address the duty for ethanol coming in from other places. It did not address the tax credit, that 51 cents moving to 45 cents a gallon ethanol tax credit that's out there. It just addressed the RFS. And the way it worked is many of us actually didn't see it until it was in our laps, and then there was no discussion on what those planks were. It was all accepted by unanimous consent, or actually by acclamation, because there was some dissent on all those planks. On Monday, when the hurricane was happening, they had no discussion on any of the platform or the other issues up there, and it just accepted. Well, I think it'd be wrong to do, to change that. I think it's a wrong policy. There's certainly discussion of what it ought to look like. There's discussion around whether we ought to, ratchet down our tax credits over time. Let's have all those discussions. But that was not stated in a way that allowed that. That just stated in a way that put a very negative view on ethanol. And certainly you can attribute potentially some of that back to the campaign. Senator McCain has not said a lot of good things about ethanol. He has said he wants to grow renewable fuels. But he's also said he's opposed to tax credits, and he favored the dropping of the duty. And some of us disagree vehemently with him on that. And Senator Grassley was there, and the senator disagrees vehemently on that. And most Midwest Republicans do. And actually, a lot of Republicans do. So there's a lot of discussion in why this is important. And, some of us came out blasting that was the wrong thing for the party to do, and that doesn't represent where the party's really at. And we just had this law passed. We had a lot of the Republicans that voted for it. And so I would strongly disagree with that. Right now, first of all, the president can't change that all by himself. Just like there's a lot of things on a platform that'll never become law. In fact, these things, if they're quiet in there, no one ever pays attention to them at all. But it does potentially give some indication of what he might be thinking about ethanol. We've all seen that as he's come into the state. I've stood beside him when he's said some things that I haven't agreed with. And so we need to have those discussions with him and let him know how important that is. So although the president can't change anything, he can have a great influence in what policy does happen. He can create some of the language and the discussion. It made a big difference when President Bush said in a State of the State address that he thinks ethanol is a future fuel, and he was a big part of making some of the policies happen out there that would create an expansion of the ethanol industry. And a negative spin on that could hurt. There's a lot of support in Congress for the things just as they are. I don't see anything changing there. I also think that, as far as the two campaigns, there's a difference. In this case, Senator Obama has been very strong and supportive of renewable fuels, and has called for an increase in the amount of ethanol that's produced and the amount of renewable fuels. In other issues, there's other impacts to ag. Senator Obama has been much more protectionist than Senator McCain. He's much more aggressive on exports. And so, to me, that's a better position, the export promotion Senator McCain has. Regulatory issues. Certainly, I think Senator McCain is stronger there than what I consider the concerns I'd have about some of Senator Obama's views. And so this is a challenging time because these issues are all important. And I think they're politically important and they're economically important. In Iowa right now, we're number one ethanol state by a long ways. 2.3 billion gallons of ethanol. We only use in gasoline in this state 1.5 billion gallons. we produce, if they're looking for something real, right now we produce 50% more ethanol than we use in gasoline. So we're really replacing stuff. It's important economically for the 33 plants out there, the jobs in the small towns around that. It's important for the investment in those plants. It's important for the DEGs that are used. It's important for the market for corn that's used. This is an important issue for Iowa. And we're going to continue to make the case that this is something that, just like many other industries are supported to get started, wind energy will have a tax credit, expansion probably, or extension on the wind power that's coming off of our wind turbines to go into electricity. We'll see other credits. You see the ads talking about natural gas. At the end of those ads, they talk about we need credits for new cars. We need credits for new infrastructure. We need credits for new technology and research into engines that can use natural gas. Those are all tax incentives the same way that ethanol has to get started. We need to then look at what we need to do to ramp those down over time. But right now, we need that, and that investment was made based on those decisions. So I consider it a very serious situation and something that we need to address very strongly. Let them know that that's not just something we're uncomfortable with, it's something that we're not happy about.